गुड आफ्टरनून टू ऑल ऑफ यू। क्या है, आवाज ऐसे धीमे निकल रही है। गुड आफ्टरनून टू ऑल ऑफ यू। हाँ, एक तो पॉलिटिकल साइंस पढ़ रहे हो, पॉलिटिक्स में आवाज सबसे तेज होती है, ठीक है। सो टुडे वी हैव अ ओरिएंटेशन। तो बिफोर आई स्टार्ट, किसी को कुछ पूछना है? किसी के पास कोई स्पेसिफिक सवाल है जिसका आंसर चाहता हो तो मैं दूंगा। नहीं है? किसी के पास कोई सवाल है? एनीवन वांट टू आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन? Okay, I'll answer this. Okay. Okay. देखिए, I can only speak of PSIR. We can discuss this part कि what could be the possible criteria कि on what grounds you think for a subject. So if anyone, I'll start with this only. If anyone is confused, which optional should I take? The answer is very simple, and I always speak it loudly. Your interest matters a lot. And why I emphasize on interest? Because UPSC is a long journey. It's not necessary that if it's well and good if you qualify it in one attempt. What if you are qualifying it in second attempt and you become IRS, you want to go for IAS, again attempting the exam? So you cannot study a subject which has, beyond your interest basically. So imagine this, whenever you choose a subject, always have in your mind that you may require to study this subject more than 1 year, maybe 2 year, maybe 3 year. So sometimes students think, okay, it is a one-time read. Okay, reading just for 1 year, I'll appear for the mains examination and I'll be out of the subject always. It's not going to be like this, because it's going to be almost 2 to 3 years. So if you have an interest in the subject, you can continue even beyond 1 year or 2 year. So interest is the first choice. That should be always given more weightage to any subject, any other factor. Now, the second important factor, you're studying it over here for competitive examination purpose. So, again, using a PSIR word, you should choose strategically, where you can score better, where you can manage your time better, where you can study in the flow, where you can make it compatible with the rest of your subject. That's starting from prelims up to the interview. That should be the second criteria to choose any of the subject. And the third criteria, I always say, go with such subjects which is familiar, even if you haven't studied that subject ever. That's the third criteria. Okay, let me give an example. Suppose a person is an engineer or a doctor, but if I'll talk about caste politics, if I'll talk about secularism, even if I talk about Gandhiji, or even if I talk about Ambedkar, these ideas, people and their views are not unknown to anyone, even the person who is not preparing for the civil services. And why such subjects are more important, which is directly connected to you, is basically the nature of question UPSC is asking. They're asking such questions where your creativity is required. Your own style of permutation and combination is required. For this, familiarity with the terms, familiarity with the subject always help you basically. So if you look forward, okay, I should choose this subject, I'll simply say, If you have an interest in that, go ahead. That's the first and the maximum weightage you can give. The second one, if it is strategically fit in your preparation. When I say strategically fit in your preparation, that simply means you can save time. It is covering lot part of GS. If it is compatible with the rest of the subjects and easy to grasp. It's not a rocket science. It's easy to grasp. That's the second part. As I said, the third one, you must be aware of the subjects in terms of your general way of living. You did your engineering, but still you are aware of what is coalition politics. You are aware of federalism. You know what are the major issues in federalism. Maybe you know the one issue or two issue. If I'll speak, okay, what about the language issue? You know about it. You haven't studied political science ever. So this type of familiarity with the subject always boosts your creativity. And why I emphasize this, the way UPSC is asking, it's not about PSIR, about any topic, in any subject. Now they are looking forward, students should be able to, apply its own creativity, understanding and knowledge. This exam remain no more exam of mugging up and just retrieving and writing. It's no more that examination. So apply your creativity, making combinations, making other kind of arrangement in the answer. You should be familiar with the subject. So when it come to the PSIR, you'll find a lot of similarities. If अभी तो मैं बिल्कुल basic ही बात कर रहा हूँ. If you look into just talking about first in paper 1B our second section, जिसको हम कहते हैं Indian Constitution and Indian Government. So this whole thing, even the person who is not preparing is almost aware of the entire syllabus. The first 3 topics are basically related to the Indian national movement. And I guess if I'll ask, okay, can you name some of the leading figure of Indian national movement except Gandhi ji? Then still you will be able to tell me multiple names. So that always give you an edge and it reduce your time to study, understand anything which is unknown to you. Then the entire Indian Constitution. Take any of the subject, but you have to study the Indian Constitution. Take A, B, C, D, you have to study the Indian Constitution. Here, Indian Constitution has a dual usage. That's for the GS part as well as for your optional part. That's going to help you in an optional. In fact, sometimes if you study things from optional perspective, it is more in depth in comparison to the GS. So what happened? It reinforces your GS. So it is not only convergence in terms of content. It is a kind of reinforcing element which can extend your depth in your general studies answer. This is one of the reasons that those who prepare paper 2, GS paper 2 with the PSIR 1B, their score is relatively high. Last year, few of my students were scoring 120 plus and consistently from last 3 years. The only reason they prepare it like this. But the major fault over here is that most of the students prepare Pol Science 1B paper through GS2. That approach is negative. And it rarely works. So if you think that you know the Constitution, so you can prepare the 1B, it's not going to work. You prepare 1B, GS2 will be automatically prepared and it is going to prepare with lot of depth also. It's going to prepare with lot of depth also. So 1B, IR, International Relations, again, it is a part of the GS2. And here, some students ask me ki I was absent during my GS classes in IR. So is this going to complete it? Answer is absolutely yes. Because the depth required in GS and depth required in PSIR in international relations is huge gap. I would say that it's almost double. So your GS answer again is going to be very qualitative answer. Again, it's not the convergence of the content. It's about the depth. So this subject not only covers GS paper 2, but give you a depth. Like your average score, if it is 80, 90, then it can go with 120, 110 plus easily. That's the specific thing about this. That's why I always says that if any subject which is related with your general cognitive ability, which is related with your normal raising, you must go for that subject, because आपको ना एफर्ट नहीं करना पड़ेगा याद करने के लिए. इंडियन पार्टी सिस्टम के बारे में अगर हम बात कर लें, या एक टॉपिक ही है आपको कि इंडियन पॉलिटिकल, नेशनल पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, तो जिसको ये भी नहीं पता हो कि व्हाट इज द क्राइटेरिया टू बिकम अ नेशनल पार्टी, वो भी गेस करके ऑलमोस्ट सही बता देगा. इवन इफ समवन टेक अ वाइल्ड गेस, देन स्टिल कैन से कि हाँ ये पार्टी नेशनल पार्टी होनी चाहिए. जैसे कुछ अटेम्प्ट ले सकते हैं आप लोग, कौन कौन सी नेशनल पार्टीज हो सकती हैं, क्या लगता है? तो आपको नहीं पता टेक्निकल क्राइटेरिया क्या है, व्हाट इज टू आइडेंटिफाई नेशनल पार्टीज. कोई एक पार्टी आपको लगता है नेशनल पार्टी होगी, नाम बताइए. बीजेपी, कांग्रेस, आम आदमी पार्टी. नाउ दिस इज अ सिंपल थिंग. विदाउट स्टडिंग द सब्जेक्ट स्टिल यू आर एबल टू. सो इफ आई टॉक अबाउट, जैसे ये भी बड़ा एक इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक है आपको, प्रोफाइल ऑफ लेजिस्लेटर्स, मतलब जो आपके एमपी हैं, एमएलए हैं, उनका प्रोफाइल क्या है. तो मुझे लगता है आप में से बहुत लोगों को पता होगा कि बाहुबली होते हैं, कई सारे क्रिमिनल केसेस पेंडिंग होते हैं. You know this, and when you write this topic की profile of legislature, you talk about their background. If I'll say कि educational background, एक common sense idea लगेगा, PhD तो नहीं होंगे ये सब, they may be graduate or maybe 10+2 education are there. If I'll talk about whether they are a full time into the profession or they are doing some job and then doing some politics, then you can say no, they'll be into the full time. They cannot be doing along with their jobs. So this is what we study in a profile of a legislator. Just उसमें ऐड कर देते हैं, ये रिपोर्ट पब्लिश हुई, इस रिपोर्ट में ये कहा गया, इस स्कॉलर ने उसके बारे में ये कहा. लेकिन ऐसी कोई बात नहीं कहता है वो जिससे कि आप अवेयर नहीं है. So again, it's the familiarity of the subject. You know, if the familiarity with the subject is there, it almost reduces half of your effort to retain that particular subject. तो मुझे लगता है कि एक बड़ा क्राइटेरिया है कि आप कौन सा सब्जेक्ट चूज करना चाहते हैं. सो अगर आपका इंटरेस्ट अच्छा है, जीएस के साथ उसका कन्वर्जेंस है, आप उसे टाइमलाइन में ठीक से प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं और उस सब्जेक्ट से आप क्लोज हैं, मतलब आप उसकी वोकैब से वाकिफ हैं, तो देन इट बिकम इजी फॉर यू टू चूज अ सब्जेक्ट दैट्स गोइंग टू बी. अब एक सवाल और उठता है कि जैसे मैं पूछूं कि आपको पता है क्या आपका क्या इंटरेस्ट है, किस सब्जेक्ट में इंटरेस्ट है. इफ आई आस्क हाउ डू यू डिटरमिन दैट वेयर योर इंटरेस्ट लाइज. मुझे लगता तो नहीं है कि कोई बहुत डिलिबरेटली किताब लेके पढ़ करके ये समझने की कोशिश करता है कि ऐसे कई बच्चे पूछते हैं कि सर आई विल गो थ्रू द एनसीईआरटी सो आई विल बी एबल टू डिटरमिन वेयर माय इंटरेस्ट इज. आई डाउट अबाउट दिस अप्रोच. नाउ हाउ डू यू डिटरमिन कि वेयर इज योर इंटरेस्ट. ओके, लेट मी आस्क लाइक दिस. सो इफ यू सी न्यूज़पेपर, so what type of news you search for? If you see reels, what type of reels you watch? I mean, obviously related to the subject. I'm not talking about any other reel. If you discuss with your friends without making a formal debating day, आप कोई डिबेट डे बना के नहीं जा रहे हो, ऐसी नॉर्मल बात कर रहे हो अपने दोस्तों के साथ. What are the core areas to be discussed subjects? Without studying anything with any authentic book, still you have some arguments. Well, that's what the point. Here you can identify which subject is easy for you. I mean, you have all the subjects in front of you. So, but the topics where you prefer to discuss, without making much effort, you are able to make arguments. what you like to read from the newspapers, what type of real movies every time you purchase. Sometimes you watch a movie and after watching movie you can resemble it कि okay this character look like to this person, आराम से हो जाता है. Sometimes you find कि okay this storyline look like this. So that's what the natural inclination and your interest. It's not all about just going through one or two NCERT book. You'll be able to find out कि what is my interest. Above all, I always suggest student कि you have studied the subject in their graduation if they studied it properly. Not about just, last 5 days preparing and appearing for the examination. Properly studied. And this subject is available. That should be always a good choice. You can think of any subject what you have studied. There is no confusion about it. But again, I'm saying the condition is you have studied. Otherwise, कभी क्लास गए नहीं या गए तो दोस्तों से मिल के आ गए और एग्जाम से 15 दिन पहले ढूंढ रहे हैं क्या सिलेबस है, कौन सा आएगा, टीचर से बात करें सर कौन से सवाल आएंगे. अगर कुछ वैसे करके पढ़ा है तो मान के चलिए कि फॉर्मली आप ग्रेजुएट हैं, फंक्शनली नहीं है. So just take it that and we have to study. So these are the ways to identify any of the subject. इसमें कोई बहुत टेक्निकल बात नहीं, बहुत सिंपल और इजी चीजें. Because subject should be, connected with you. You have to be with the subject for maybe more than 1 year. That's why. And sometimes students have this mind because of, again, social media is there. कि they simply say, take this subject, prepare it 1 year, you will score high and you are through. But that's not true. If you check out how many students in their very first attempt always writing mains. So why to take a perfect positioning? Let's go for an average idea. Ki we have to study that subject for the 2 years. Now think whether you will be able to continue with the subject with the 2 year. पता लगा सब्जेक्ट आपसे बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है लेकिन फिर भी आप पढ़ रहे हो बिकॉज यू हैव टू स्कोर. जैसे ऐसे ही कभी लंच या डिनर में कुछ घर में कुछ ऐसी सब्जी उब्जी बन जाती है, यू डोंट लाइक इट बट स्टिल आपको लगता है आज ही खाना है, इसी समय खाना है, फिर आप क्या कहते हो थोड़ा कम दो. तो इसमें भी यही होता है कि अच्छा जो सब्जेक्ट है एक काम करते हैं, लेट्स गो फॉर कि ये इतना ही पढ़ना पड़े, इन नोट्स के बाहर कुछ नहीं पढ़ना पड़े. दिस वो थिंक ऑफ और ऐसे हम कर लें. लेकिन ऐसा होता नहीं है बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट द राइट वे टू प्रिपेयर योर ऑप्शनल. यू नीड टू थिंक ऑफ योर कनेक्शन and you should be able to get it from your environment also. देखिए, study is not all about that every time you are reading with the book. It should be like whatever you know, even if you are roaming and something you are seeing, you are able to connect with that. That is also there. So looking into all these, I always admire this subject. और मुझे लगता है क्लास के बाद तो आपको चारों तरफ पॉलिटिकल साइंस दिखाई देने लगेगा. जब हम कभी सॉफ्ट पावर की बात करेंगे और किसी के बोर्ड पे लिखा होगा कि आपको दिवाली की बधाइयां, तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि वो इट्स सॉफ्ट पावर डिस्प्ले. दिस इज ट्रू. इफ ट्रम्प विल गिव कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस टू इंडियन ऑन द ईव ऑफ दिवाली और एनी ऑफ द फेस्टिवल, दैट इंडियाज सॉफ्टवेयर क्लाउड इज अराइजिंग. सो दैट्स व्हाट माय पॉइंट इज. इट्स नॉट लाइक, देखिए यूपीएससी वो एग्जाम अब नहीं रहा कि 4 किताबें हैं, पढ़ लिया कर लेंगे. आप जीएस का भी पेपर देखे, इट्स क्वाइट डायनामिक एंड इट रिक्वायर्ड लॉट ऑफ कॉमन सेंस and your creativity. So these things can remain only with such things where you can connect. You have the ability to grasp fast to that particular subject. Then it is going to work. So anyone who is confused between subject A and subject B, so if you can follow those criteria, it can help you to choose your subject rightly. Fine. Now, I'm coming to another important part. When it comes to the PSIR, apart from कि lot of things you are already aware of. You need to just give a frame or a proper theoretical frame to understand. There's one more important thing about this subject. It will develop a perspective, which is very much required when it comes to the GS paper 4 in general and in your interview. You cannot find, पहले मैं कंटेंट वाइज बात कर रहा हूं, आप रैंडमली किसी का भी इंटरव्यू के क्वेश्चंस किसी के भी उठा लीजिए, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि देयर विल बी नो क्वेश्चन ऑन इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस और इंडियन पॉलिटी. देयर इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी. अब समस्या ये नहीं है कि द पर्सन हु इज अपीयरिंग फॉर द इंटरव्यू इज अनअवेयर ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर कंटेंट. द प्रॉब्लम इज you have a lot of content and you have to precisely answer in a timeline of 20 to 30 seconds. उसका चैलेंज बिल्कुल उल्टा होता है. आपको जो इंटरव्यू दे रहा है उसको इंडिया यूएस रिलेशनशिप पे क्या नहीं पता होगा, लेकिन एक सवाल और प्रिसाइज आंसर, दैट्स द चैलेंज. सो व्हाई दिस सब्जेक्ट इज हेल्पफुल ओवर देयर? बिकॉज इट गिव यू इन डेप्थ अंडरस्टैंडिंग. So you understanding कि okay, what is the real reason behind it, and what one word, two word, or few lines you can pick up कि okay, this is what the precise answers. Again, if you know someone who have appeared for interview, if you talk to them, nobody will say if they are able to answer all the question कि interview is bad. But still people who are able to give all the answer, still they are not able to score as much the other candidate who might left one question but still able to score high. This is what the line of difference, your depth and your understanding. If your depth and understanding is very good, so in that 30-second time, 20-second time, you become very precise. जैसे इस ईयर वन ऑफ माई स्टूडेंट 6th रैंकर, वो फाउंडेशन की बच्ची थी, उसके इंटरव्यू मार्क्स देखिए, इट्स 220 और 215, मैं मिस कर गया. सो और ये पहला नहीं है, पिछला वाला भी देखिए, कंसिस्टेंट स्कोर हाई. वन ऑफ द रीजन यू कैन गिव अ प्रिसाइज आंसर, यू कैन गिव अ प्रिसाइज. बहुत छोटे छोटे सवाल हैं. अगर मैं ऐसे ही पूछूं, यूक्रेन रशिया वॉर के बारे में सारे लोग जानते हैं, तो बहुत प्रिसाइज आंसर अगर ये पूछा जाए कि वाई अमेरिका एंड अदर कंट्रीज आर अपोजिंग रशियन अटैक ओवर यूक्रेन, बाकी लोग इंटरव्यू के लिए कि भाई क्यों रशियन अटैक को वो क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हैं. तो अब इसके बहुत सारे आंसर कह सकते हो कि नहीं वो तो नेटो का एक्सपेंशन हुआ इसलिए रशियन अटैक किया. दैट्स नॉट द आंसर. वेस्ट सिंपल तरीके से ये कहता है कि दिस इज पुतिन इज इंपीरियलिस्ट एंड इट इज अ इंपीरियल वॉर, colonial war. They are looking forward to reunite the whole USSR again, and that is why they have attacked. तभी वो पूरी दुनिया को मोबिलाइज कर रहे हैं उसके हिसाब पे. अभी तो रशियन व्यू है ना, जो वो कह रहा है कि इट वाज द नेटो एक्सपेंशन एंड आई वाज फोर्स्ड टू अटैक ओवर देयर. दैट्स नॉट द रशियन, दैट्स नॉट द अमेरिकन व्यू. कभी आप देखिए कि अमेरिका अपनी पार्लियामेंट में क्या कहता, कांग्रेस में क्या कहता जब उसको पैसा लेना होता है रशिया की, यूक्रेन की हेल्प के लिए. दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कि if the colonialism and imperialism era will come back, it will destroy the liberal order, it will destroy the democracy. So we should stop such forces which are imperialist and dictator or authoritarian. That is a precise answer. तो ये डेप्थ ऑप्शनल से आती है, ये डेप्थ अखबार पढ़ने से भी नहीं आती है. ये you need to be little bit more to that. And अब ऐसा मैं नहीं कह रहा हूं कि जिनका ऑप्शनल नहीं चाहिए होता है तो उनको नंबर अच्छे नहीं आते. मेरे कहने का मतलब प्रोबेबिलिटी आपकी ज्यादा अच्छी होती है. दैट्स व्हाट अ वेरी स्पेशल अबाउट दिस सब्जेक्ट. दिस इज हाउ वन कैन थिंक. सो दिस सब्जेक्ट इन इटसेल्फ इज द गुड स्कोरिंग, easy to understand. It help a lot in general studies. It help a lot in your interview also. If you consider all these factors, and again above all your interest, मतलब ये सारे फैक्टर हैं लेकिन इंटरेस्ट आपको हमेशा आगे रखना है, तो उसके बिना बात नहीं बनेगी. अब कुछ लोगों को एक मिथ और भी रहता है, जैसे कुछ बच्चे ये कहते हैं कि सर बाकी सब तो पॉलिटिकल साइंस में बहुत अच्छा लगता है, लेकिन ये जो थिंकर लोग हैं ना, इनकी दिक्कत है। ये एरिस्टोटल, प्लेटो, हॉब्स, लॉक, मतलब किसी दिन ऐसा लगता है कि जिसका जो मन किया वो बोल के चला गया और हम लोग को फंसा के चला गया कि पढ़ो तुम लोग अब। बट आई वुड से इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट, बिकॉज everyone speak everything or anything in a context only. So now the fundamental question is thinkers. Thinker is difficult to understand, and why it is difficult to understand? Because whatever they speak, it look like random to us. And why we should study any thinker's idea? So technically I would answer it otherwise. This is when these thinkers are not irrelevant, and it was not like whatever they said it was a random. There is always a context why a particular thinker speaks of. If you understand the context, why he speaks such things, what was the real context, then you are going to understand the views and ideas of that particular thinker. Now, the second important thing is, apart from the context, it is all related to the modern things and modern debates. It is all related to the modern things and modern debates. Okay, how come it is related to modern things and modern debates? For example, if you might have know about this social contract theory. Social contract theory of state simply says that state came into being when people enter into agreement and they formed the state. Now, if you try to think it, we don't know it is historically correct or not, at any point of time people enter into such agreement or not. That scholar never want to discuss, or that particular thinker never want to discuss. He was basically discussing this argument, connecting it to the modern thing. Is basically discussing this argument. Population, our citizens are for the state, our state is for the citizen. Because if you say the state is outcome of the contract, it means that state is just a means and human being is end. Matlab human being is objective or the goal. So the way human beings want, citizen wants, state has to work accordingly. It is not like that. State can define its objective and goal independently without the consent of the people. This is more related to that idea. In all type of scholars or theories, there is one more interesting scholar I always quote. There is a Bentham, Jeremy Bentham. Now, Jeremy Bentham, this is a very surprising thing he has given. Jeremy Bentham has given a theory where he spoke of pleasure and pain. Pleasure sabko samajh mein aata? What is pleasure? What is pain? I guess everyone understand. Pleasure and pain are quantitative in nature, not qualitative in nature. Ab usne ye likh diya. He has written this. And now somebody say, what is important in that? Ki pleasure is a quantitative or pain is a quantitative or qualitative. Now it has a special meaning. When you say pleasure is a qualitative, that simply means there is a difference between pleasure. There is a difference between pleasure. For example, when you eat sweets and when you play games. So if I'll ask, in which activity you get more pleasure? कोई बता पाएगा? Game. Both. Sweets. कौन सी स्वीट पसंद है आपको? अरे नाम है कुछ, देखिए बेसन के लड्डू, Now, the point is, if somebody is saying sweet, somebody is saying it is a game, that simply means you are recognizing that there is no qualitative difference. This is what a quantitative difference. Quantitative difference means you can place them, like you can place them, sweet can be measured on the scale of 10. It is giving 6 unit of pleasure, and game may be giving 4 unit of pleasure. Those who believe game is more, they'll say, so this is, they completely deny that there is a qualitative. If somebody say no, both have a different type of pleasure, it means they believe that there is a qualitative difference. Now, what is its application? That's a very interesting thing. So why today, I mean, when we talk about if there is a quantitative difference, now this was answered in a very simple way. It was answered like this. All the modern laws I'm talking about, all the modern laws based on these ideas. Have you ever thought of if there is someone injured in an accident, why there is a process of compensation? How one can compensate it through the money? Okay, let me take another example. If someone defame you, how this defamation can be settled with giving you money? If you check anything, if someone is working in the factory and because of accident he lost one of his hand, then why it could be compensated through the money? Then you'll realize that, when the industrialization was going on, at that time, Bentham was a thinker, was worried about, because the earlier principle believe qualitative difference. So one thing cannot be exchanged in case of other. If there is a quantitative difference, then everything become exchangeable. So if I would say that losing 5 fingers created me pain of 15,000 or 20,000 unit. So how it could be compensated? Give me the same unit of the pleasure. So now it will be decided by the government. और government decide करती है, partially injured 50,000, severe damages 2 lakh. If the person, then 10 lakh. What is the criteria? Have you ever thought of, in all type of damages, compensation in terms of money is the clause. Bentham is considered to be foundation, or father of the modern laws in India. Across the world. Why I'm saying India? Because we adopted it from Britain, and he was from the Britain. The first legal document he has written in the Britain only. So these thinkers are not irrelevant. Their ideas, if somebody is telling you what is the application of it, rather than just mugging up, okay, there is no quantitative difference or there is a qualitative difference. So this is a complete misconception. Every thinker, take any name, every thinker has, this implication in the modern times. If you talk about Plato, if you talk about Aristotle, so the idea of merit, who should rule us? The person who is competent should rule us. That comes from the Aristotle. You have a right to education today, 86th constitutional amendment. Plato in his own time has said that there should be state-sponsored education. And it all has been said in a context. So my point is what? This political thinker part is very interesting. It's not interesting. It's very interesting. If you understand in a context why that particular thinker is saying this and what that idea has changed in the global world. जैसे earlier, how state came into being. There was a very popular theory, divine theory of state. Divine theory of state simply says that it was the God who established the state. Now we think what is big, every religious text say the same. It's not. It has an implication. If the state is of the God, or state has been created by the God, that simply means the king is a representative of the God. So none of the citizen have right to speak against the king. No one has any right. They have only duties against the king. Because if you claim your right or duty, then it is going to be against the God. If you raise question mark about the wisdom of the king, then you are questioning whom? God. So as long as these ideas was there, the implication was that no right is available to the people, only duties are there to the people. But when again, social contract theory, it's the people who have made the state. If the people who have made the state, what is the objective? The idea was simple. There are certain rights must be given by the state to the people. So people can grow further. They can maintain law and order. So the idea of right itself is directly related with that idea. So my point is, the political thinkers are very interesting. If you understand whatever the idea they have given, how it has changed the modern world, and what is the implication today or in the modern times. They say Locke has given a very interesting concept, the concept of property. The concept of property, how property came into being and how property is distributed to the people. In general, if you think of the idea of private property, connect karna. If the state is of the God, then how private property could be to the individuals? If the whole state belonged to the God, so there is no point that any inch of this land belonged to any person. So now connect. Earlier, it was God who appointed king. It is the king who appointed the landlords. There was no land of any farmer or any peasant. They all work on the land of the zamindars or landlords. So the logic is there. Have you ever thought how come all the landlords are having this much of land, no farmer is having land? Because the basic fundamental was the idea of divine theory of state. Now, when this divine theory of state was replaced with social contract theory, okay, this state is not created by God, but it is created by the people. Now, the next question is, then how this land is distributed? How come some people have more land and how come some people have less land? So once they deny the idea of divine theory of state, so demand of redistribution of land starts. India में आज़ादी के बाद हुआ, when we went for the land reforms, because the fundamental of the divine theory has gone. Now the idea was that it is of the people, so it should be distributed of the people. Now the state will make who will own how much of land. So they fix a upper ceiling. A person cannot have more than this land, this much of land, and rest of the land has to be distributed to the people. So this is how these ideas are there. Private and public. अब 3 concept हो गए. There is a property of God, there is a property of private people, and there is the property of public. Can you differentiate between public and private? What is difference between public and private? Public is the collective identity. Like we all are part of the public, but individually we are not public. Individually we are individual citizens. It's not like okay, जैसे हम कहते हैं this is public property. This is not your individual property. कुछ लोगों को लगता है it is individual one. So they destroy or they take something. But public means we all together make. how the idea of public has come. Only with the idea of the social contract, where a new entity, identity was created. Ki commonly, collectively, we have one identity and individually we have another identity. You know, the idea of public property is a modern idea. The idea of private property is a modern idea. अगर किसी ने फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन पढ़ा हो तो पढ़ा होगा कि there was no private property to the third state or the third class. It was only for the two classes, the one who are clergy class and the other one was landlord class. How that distribution was done? The answer goes divine theory of the state. What is the basics of the land reforms? Modern ideas of the state. So it's not like that ki these thinkers are, just randomly say something. Everything is very much connected. If you read Marx, specifically his theory of alienation, then you realize that how this theory is connected with the rise of capitalism and the application of the capitalism. And when, this is simple, when capitalism सबको समझ में आता है क्या है capitalism? What is capitalism? Capitalism simply produce that thing which can make lot of profit. Now imagine this. If a society social norms restricts something to consume or purchase, then capitalism cannot flourish. For example, जैसे इंडिया में ये है KFC है और बर्गर किंग सिंह क्या है और जितने भी ब्रांड्स हैं, if they are interested to sell full time veg and non-veg options, but they know that कि in India people have certain restriction. पहला तो vegetarian crowd इंडिया में अच्छा खासा है और दूसरा नॉन वेजिटेरियन भी 2 दिन नहीं खाते हैं यार, 1 दिन. इवन द पीपल हु आर नॉन वेजिटेरियन दे ऑल्सो रिस्ट्रिक्ट क्योंकि टुडे इज ट्यूसडे और थर्सडे. नाउ जस्ट थिंक ऑफ दैट, देन इट ऑलवेज रिस्ट्रिक्ट द सेल ऑफ दिस. सो व्हाट दीज गाइज आर गोइंग टू डू टू एक्सटेंड देयर सेल? दैट्स द इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग. देन यू विल रियलाइज कि फर्स्ट दे इन्वेंटेड burger specifically for India, that is aloo tikki burger. You can't find in any part of world, दुनिया के किसी कोने में आलू टिक्की बर्गर नहीं मिलता है. That is only available in India. That is available. Otherwise burger means hamburger only. But in India you can find aloo tikki burger. If you move towards east, then you started really going to get the fish burger also. Yes, in some places you get the fish burger. There is no fish burger, but here you are going to get it fish burger also. So they adjusted according to the market, and they started looking for to break your beliefs and social ideas. So you can challenge the social norms. अब मुद्दा ये आएगा कि why you are going to challenge the social norms. So they'll come with new types of words and ideologies. Okay, tell me. Who is considered as cool? Cool किसको कहते हैं? लॉ ब्रेक करता है. Who is considered? Modern time में भी कहते हैं ना कि this guy is very cool. So what is the definition of being cool? Rule breaker. Cool is the person who breaks the rule, who defy the social norms. So, and cool is being positive or negative. It's a popular word. Everyone wants to become cool, isn't it? Now, this is how, through the various means, the idea of cool has been. Cool is pure capitalist idea, I'm telling you. They started propagating the idea of being cool. So, if you are a cool, then raise the question over any social norms. Raise the question over any established rule. And थोड़ा मैं political theory में बात करूं. Being cool means you are a supporter of liberty. You believe that unrestricted, unregulated liberty. Without breaking law, you deny even social norms. If you look definition of liberty, negative liberty, it simply talk about unrestricted, unrestrained liberty. That simply means कि no absence of restraint is the liberty. So that simply means no social norm restrict you to do something. Only the law can restrict you. So if someone is saying, okay, you need to be cool, that simply they are suggesting you to become supporter of liberty. And if you started challenging the social norms, this is just a social norm. कि इस दिन खाना है, इस दिन नहीं खाना है. I mean, a lot of people fix it. कि during all these days, I should not do this, I should do this. So these all are norms. And being cool is not only in eating. Being cool is also in your dressing sense. So now imagine, आप सोचिए, capitalism can sell anything to you. Anything to you. Just 20 years back, if a jeans is torn, nobody like it, but it become a fashion. It is all about being cool, isn't it? So have you ever thought how come it's become a normal trend and everyone looking forward to get such things? And people think that it's good and cool. But when at time of my mother and time of your grandmother, they always look, there must not be any scratch or anything at your clothes. But today, we don't care. If you go with the time, back time, with the same jeans, they'll say ki this person is poor. But the modern idea is he's a very modern and he may be rich also. The concept has been changed. Now question, who did that? Because those who want to sell their jeans to you. Those who want to sell their jeans to you. So they'll hire film stars or someone else and they'll propagate it like this. So my point is that the whole content of political science has a modern relevance and related to certain perspective and ideas. So if you study such things, it always help you. It always help you, It always help you to give an alternative perspective, an alternative way of thinking. So there is one more concept given by some modern thinkers. Okay, you want to be a mass or you want to be a social asset. There is a difference. Mass. Mob culture. Okay, I'm connecting it. Lynching. Are you aware of this one? So what is lynching? If somebody is beating someone, the mob, without knowing much, they also become part of it. Sometimes it goes beyond the line. Now the question is, why you are participating in that? This is called mass mentality. Now, how come the mass mentality emerge? Where your thinking capacity get reduced. Now, you think it is related to biology. It is not related to biology. It is related to the social sciences. It is related to the social sciences. Where, the whole capitalism work on mass mentality. Through the advertisement, through the various interviews, blogs, they try to create a uniformity of ideas. Mass is those who have the uniform ideas. If you do not have your own way of understanding or your own ideas, it could be possible that your ideas are matching to someone else. But it's not possible if in this room there are 200 people and everyone thinks in a similar way. Then it means that someone else is controlling that idea. So how come a particular thing become a brand and everyone want to purchase? That's a pure mass mentality. And once the mass mentality is evolved, then it creates a dilemma in you. You like A, but most of the people are buying B. Then again, it will trouble you. Should I go for A or should I go for B? If you have decided, no, I'll follow myself and I'll go for B, let the people buy A. बात यहाँ खत्म नहीं होती. Then you'll be always in, because this process is so strong, then you'll be always in this thinking कुछ उसमें खास बात है क्या? What you call it FOMO. What is FOMO? Fear of missing something. So you are not part of that. It's all about that you are not confident enough about your choices. That's why you're thinking of, I may be missing something over there. That's why those who are mass sellers, they can sell anything to anyone. These thinkers basically go and analyze the idea, how this society functions, how various ideologies shape our way of thinking, and it forces us, I'm saying it forces us to behave in a particular way. That is what the content given by these thinkers, and I believe that it is the most interesting and most amazing if you compare with any part of the political science. I'm not talking about feminism and all, otherwise it is very interesting. If you talk about the Marxist way of seeing the things, you can find out, that simple ideas. Idea of incentive, pure capitalist idea of incentive. How to create competition. Why competition has to be there? Question is, why competition has to be there? Now, it is not related to the people who are competing. This is related to the person who want you to work more. So being competitive, you are working more for that capitalist in comparison to the others. Now, how will be rewarded? With the idea of incentive. Find any MNC or any venture, it works like this. In even small outlets, there is a employee of month. It's pure capitalist exploitative idea. So now name is published, he is the employee of month. Now all the workers want to become employee of month. And what you are going to get once you become employee of month, your name will be there. Maybe you will get one burger extra or maybe something like that. Now everyone want to become employee of month. Resultant is that the output of everyone is going to increase. This is how the capitalism works. So this political theory and political thinkers, they speak of this. They help you to understand things going in depth. That's what my line is. So political thinkers, if someone think that it is boring or someone think that it is difficult to mug up their ideas, it's not at all if you connect it. And I always say, capitalism is very dangerous. I'm not Marxist. I'm making it very clear. Because I guess you know my background. I did my master's to PhD from JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University. That doesn't mean I'm a communist or Marxist. Okay. But I understand the capitalist and he can sell anything. मेरे सर थे, who teaches me, वो कहते थे कि अगर कैपिटलिज्म को कह दिया जाए कि स्टूडेंट्स को गांजा बेच दो तो बेच देंगे वो. हम लोग मजाक में ही बोलते सर ऐसे कैसे है, तो बोलते तो उनका स्लोगन होगा to score high, remain high. This is what the capitalism is. So my point is, when we study political thinkers, you come to know about so many ideas and it gives you a very different perspective. Fine, guys. So I just addressed this part. Now, let's go for some technical classifications. I guess if I'll divide this subject, there is a paper 1, there is a paper 2. In paper 1, there is a part A, there is a part B. This part A has 3 important things to study. One is Indian political thinkers Indian political thinkers, Western political thinkers, and political theory. Political theory. When it comes to the political theory, I'm naming the topic. I guess everyone is aware of these ideas. Liberty, equality, justice, power, ideology. This is what the core content of the political theory. Democracy, rights, democracy, rights. Now, if I'll ask, कि क्या कुछ ऐसा इसमें है? Anything is there? You are not aware of these terms. कि what is liberty? What is equality? What is power? What is ideology? What is justice? You are already knowing so many things. But what we have to do? We need to just give the certain scholars' ideas, and their defense. For example, if somebody is defending liberty, so you need to understand on what grounds that scholar has defended liberty. On what grounds someone is defended equality. So there is a contradiction raised by some scholars between liberty and equality. So again, my simple question, given a choice, what you will prefer? If you have to choose value as a first and value as a second, which value you are going to choose? Liberty first or equality first? Liberty. Your idea? Liberty or equality? Equality. Look at this division. The same division is among scholars. There are who few believe liberty has to be given. So those who support the idea of liberty, they simply argue, if you want liberty, there cannot be equality. And those who support equality, they argue, without equality, liberty is meaningless. Okay, if I'll ask this question, you answer it with your own wisdom and reasoning. Do you think that equality can be ever established? We can try it. Try to establish it. But we know that it's not going to be. We'll be trying always. It's a utopian idea. Equality cannot be. Why it is a utopian idea? It can't be achieved. There cannot be equality. Okay, forget this. Okay, let me ask it in normative terms. ये आप सबसे सवाल है. Do you really want a world to be equal? Look what I'm asking. Do you really want world to be equal? आप चाहते हो कि पूरी दुनिया equal हो जाए? Do you really want? You want your neighborhood, your extended neighborhood should be equal. Wherever you go, you find equal person like you. Now let me ask this question. What is the answer? Look, everyone is saying no. How come equality? You are a supporter of equality. If the answer is no, then how the equality can be established? If we at all are not interested that the world should be equal. Now that's what the idea, to understand. In what sense we talk about idea of equality? In what sense we talk about the idea of liberty? Now the few modern scholars, they simply say equality is a social ideal and a political ideal. Social ideal and political ideal means we are not going to be equal. We are going to be unequal. But while behaving with each other, that inequality must not be a factor. It simply means when you are behaving with the other, treat him that he is equal to you. He is equal to you. While knowing that economically or in some other criteria, it should not be, the person is not equal. So it is more a ideal one. Behave and treat everyone equal. So if somebody is coming, a rich and poor, approaching to you for something, treat them equal. Although there is no equality. So it is considered to be a social ideal. And a lot of people defended the idea that there cannot be ever equality. And their ideas are very interesting. There is one scholar, बहुत ही मजा आएगा उसको पढ़ने में. There is a scholar named Dworkin. He has given a very interesting theory. Ronald Dworkin. He has given a very interesting theory. And his idea of equality is super different. Okay, if I'll say, what is equality? What is equality? What is equality? So our normal understanding, everyone have something equal, we called it equality. He said no. He said that everyone must pass envy test. Now what is envy? Being jealous. Being jealous. Now envy test, that simply means, suppose you all are here, there is a bundle of gold, there is a bundle of silver, and there are a lot of fruits, like apple is there and other fruits are there. Now the idea is, please pick up anything you wish, but you will be allowed to go outside when you feel that you all are equal. You all are equal. So if everyone has given in equal quantity, one gold, one silver, and one all fruit to everyone, do you think that you all are equal? Or he has given an alternative idea. He said that allow everyone to choose according to their own choices, and they must not feel jealous about the stuff of the other. He said that is what the equality is. That is what the equality. It means, suppose you have taken 3 gold bars and you are not worried about what if somebody has taken 3 gold bar plus silver. You said, no, I'm envy to that. So you have the option, get equal to them. So do you think that everyone has a equal, then there will be no jealousy? His argument was no. Why? Because we all have our priority and choices, and our way of seeing the things and doing the things. We choose accordingly. So equality means not to have a same bundle. It's all about to have your own bundle, and you are not envy to the other person about the other bundle. And you are not blaming someone. Your bundle, what you have, it is because of the other person. Then he says there is a equality. Now, if I'll connect it, what is the negative outcome of the equality? Because the people feel they are restricted, they are exploited, and most of the time, this blame goes to those who have. Now, imagine you all have a different package, and you are not blaming the other one. That person is responsible for your package, and you are not even having this envy to the other person. That's what he said. That's the idea of the equality. And then he further add, इसके बाद आप इस रूम से सारे लोग निकल गए, 1 साल बाद हम लोग मिले वापस, and you all allowed to utilize that stuff what you have. So when you are going to come back after 1 year, Are you going to have the same stuff in the same quantity? Are you going to have the same stuff in the same quantity? Some may have more than that what they have got it. So those who are good businessmen, they have taken the gold bar, they utilize. Someone who live 1 year with all full masti and come empty handed. The few tried and failed. The few decided that is enough. I'll get some money, put into the bank. I'll do fishing and I'll enjoy my life. This is enough for me. There are different people. And imagine after 1 year we met and people are not having equal. Now there is a one option. State is there to compensate you. Who lost, they can be compensated by the state. Now, right question. Who will be compensated? Who will be compensated? किसको compensation दिया जाए? Who should be compensated? The person who went for the business and lost? Or the person who is doing nothing and spend all the money? Now, why I'm saying this one? This question is related to the modern idea of welfareism. Who should get the state welfareism? This is a very important question. Or it should be given everyone to equal. जिसका कम हुआ है सबका फिर से झोला भर दिया जाए. Or we should follow that method. Now this question is very important. Today, welfareist scheme, how it should be distributed. Who should get it? And the modern welfareism debate is like this. Who deny the idea of welfareism, they simply says, don't give anything to anyone. Because they started their journey by passing the NV test. So they are considered to be equal. If they lost in trying or in anything, that all happened because of their own traits, on their ways. Even if you compensate today, tomorrow is going to be the same result. Why they should be compensated? I'm just telling you the nature of the debate. So these are the content. These are the content. But again, this is all about the way you study. It is all about you understand the modern application. If it is, then definitely it is going to work for you. Now coming back again to this. So political theory is this part. Western political thinkers, we study Aristotle, Plato, Hobbes, John Locke, Karl Marx, Gramsci is there. I add on 2-3 more thinkers just to fill the gaps, because in your syllabus some thinkers has been removed, like Bentham is not there, Rousseau is not there, so I include them basically. And when it comes to the Indian political thinkers, किसी Indian political thinker को जानते हैं आप लोग? ऐसे ही नाम बताइए. Gandhi ji is there, Ambedkar is there, M.N. Roy is there, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan is there, Aurobindo is there. Those who have the background, they might have studied Raja Ram Mohan Rai also. So your syllabus is not that much. It is just the 4-5 thinkers. So this is what we have to study in paper 1. Then when it comes to this part, part B again, it has 2 important, in fact 3 important. The first 3 topic is related to Indian topics, related to Indian Constitution. Then second part, one part is related to Indian national movement. Indian national movement. And one part is related to politics part. This politics part include like caste, religion, political parties, social movement, and so on. This is what in 1B. This part, Indian Constitution, Indian national movement, is for entire your GS part 2. This part is going to reinforce or going to further help specifically to the Indian Constitution part, because it is more related to the application part. It is more related to the application part. So if you combine this give a depth to your GS2. जैसे GS2 में आप केवल Indian Constitution पढ़ते हैं, but if you study Indian politics, so that give you a in-depth understanding of the Indian Constitution, because the politics is the applied section of the Indian Constitution. So in GS, formally up Indian Constitution, but if you know this, you understand it with lot of depth, lot of understanding. That's why I always says कि PSIR provides you not only convergence of the content, but give you a great depth also for general studies paper 2. And one part is a IR we study in the paper 2 basically. Now this is what the paper 1. This is what the paper 1, these 3 parts and this part. Now my understanding is that almost everyone with or without background of the subject is almost aware of these terms in own ways, may not be knowing a proper theoretical idea of it, but they understand, some understanding is there ki what is liberty, what is equality, what they call justice, some ideas are there. Then Constitution you have to study in GS, Indian national movement you have to study in your modern India, and this part you see it every day. Every news is related to that part. National politics, regional politics, whatever the issue you find around you, somehow it is going to be connected with this one. Somehow it is going to be connected with this one. For example, there is the one topic, electoral behavior. Now tell me, electoral behavior means you as a voter, how you behave. What factors shape your political behavior? You can only tell me कि what factors shape your behavior. Education? नहीं. Religion? Party manifesto? You go through the party manifesto before voting? Some you don't. Ideology? Seriously? Okay, tell me the ideology of any party I'm saying. Identify 2-3 component of ideology of any party. Social justice is in manifesto of everyone. Who is denying the idea of social justice? You know, the modern theorists, what they say, we are in the era of catch-all party. Catch-all party means all the parties want to catch everyone. So what they did that, all the good words everyone has included. Although we discuss about the ideology, but if you look at the manifesto and you can say their constitution, there will be only minor difference. But again, when it comes to on what ground voters decide to vote, I doubt that they read even the manifesto of any. I mean, they know, even they don't know if there is a manifesto. Maybe you guys are appearing for UPSC. Think of the common man. Leadership. So it is the leadership of the person who is contesting the election or the party leaders. No, party leaders. Now you think of the factors which is shaping. It is not only the person who is contesting the election, even the leaders of that political party who has nothing to do with that particular region. But still, okay, he is the leader, so we can think of. Religion, caste, freebies, very good, freebies. So this is the whole topic, electoral behavior. Now you told me that these are the factors. A lot of people vote on money also. Money and muscle power. Muscle power का तो नहीं idea है कि how it help, but money is there. Okay, this question I always ask in my class. To whom you are going to vote? If someone promised you to immediately transfer 25,000 rupees in your account, or the other candidate promises, okay, I'll have very good schools, quality education, and I'll ensure that a very good road infrastructure. This is a serious question. No, seriously, I'm asking this question, and please be honest. To whom you are going to vote, the first one or the second one? Okay, now he's saying that taking money from the other one, but voting to the second one. It's not about a particular state. 90% of the voter will go for the first choice. And if you ask them why you are going for the first choice, they will defend and they can give you a logic. I can't trust whether the person is promising, whether the person is going to deliver or not. That's the political distrust. It is one of the factors that is shaping the electoral behavior. So they started looking for short-time benefits rather than long-time benefit. And they identify none of them have ever fulfilled the promise. Everyone promised. That's why our entire politics is shifting to the short-term benefits. Freebies works. Freebies works. So this is what the electoral behavior we have to study. So my point is what? In this entire syllabus, things are more or less like this only. You are completely acquainted with the subject. We'll just give some theoretical concept, name of the scholar, Paul Bross have studied this, or Yogendra Yadav have studied this, or उनकी तो स्टडी का भी आपको समझ में आएगा कि being politician and being academician is two different things. This is interesting. He is considered to be great sociologist, but none of his political saying, or you can say predictions, are becoming true. So you can see the gap between the academics and the people. Now, why this disconnection is there? The answer lies, the people think differently. I would say one more thing. Because of the education system, because of unaware of how things works. This is another important reason they don't see the things, or they are not able to connect the things. Now, this is what we study in paper 1. When it comes to the paper 2, now the paper 2 is also having 2 parts. 2A, that is having international relations theories like liberalism, Marxism, IR theories. The second part is related to international relations for developing countries. इस टाइप का कोई syllabus नहीं लिया हुआ है. There is no syllabus such type mentioned in your syllabus, but technically it includes multiple topics. जैसे मैं आपको पढ़ के सुनाता हूं. जैसे there is a topic 2. Topic 2 is state in comparative perspective. ये टॉपिक है, where you need to understand state in developed countries, state in developing countries. There is a topic of globalization. टॉपिक इतना ही नहीं है, टॉपिक का पूरा नाम है ग्लोबलाइजेशन, रिस्पॉन्स फ्रॉम डेवलप्ड एंड डेवलपिंग सोसाइटीज, रिस्पॉन्स फ्रॉम डेवलप्ड एंड डेवलपिंग सोसाइटीज, अगेन सेम, डेवलप्ड एंड डेवलपिंग. देयर इज अ वन मोर टॉपिक, पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ रिप्रेजेंटेशन एंड पार्टिसिपेशन. ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक है. इसमें हमको क्या पढ़ना है? एक्चुअली इसमें हमको पढ़ना है जो हमने यहां पढ़ा है, बट इट्स नॉट ओनली अबाउट इंडिया. यू नीड टू कंपेयर पार्टी सिस्टम, नेचर ऑफ पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, electoral behavior, pressure groups, again between developed and developing countries. इसका बेनिफिट क्या होता है ना कि इफ यू नो अबाउट इंडिया, इंडिया इज अ क्लासिक केस ऑफ डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज, तो ऑलमोस्ट सेम पैटर्न इज एवरीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड, सेम पैटर्न इज एवरीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड. जैसे एक फीचर मैं बता रहा हूं, इन डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज parties are organized around issues and ideology. But when we look India, parties are not organized around issues and ideology. They project it, but actually parties are organized around leadership, or personality based parties कहते हैं. पर्सनैलिटी बेस्ड पार्टीज का. आपको मैं एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज बता रहा हूं. इफ यू सी अ बोर्ड इन यूएस, इफ यू सी अ बोर्ड ऑफ रिपब्लिकन पार्टी ओवर देयर विल बी जस्ट नेम ऑफ द रिपब्लिकन पार्टी इन दैट पर्टिकुलर बोर्ड, आर सम ऑफ द हाईलाइटेड प्रोग्राम व्हाट दे टॉक अबाउट. हैव यू सीन अ बोर्ड इन इंडिया? यू कांट फाइंड. सबसे बड़ा क्या होगा? सबसे बड़े फॉर्मेट में द पिक्चर ऑफ दैट लीडर, और कम से कम आधा तो पिक्चर में ही चला जाएगा. एंड देन द नेम ऑफ पार्टी, नथिंग एल्स विल बी रिटन ओवर देयर. नाउ दैट्स द डिफरेंस ऑफ डेवलप्ड एंड डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज रिगार्डिंग द पार्टी सिस्टम, रिगार्डिंग, आई मीन लाइक इन इंडिया, इफ a party leaders freely move from one party to another party, why parties welcome the leaders of other party? Why they welcome? The answer again, because in India personality based political parties are there, so they know that even that leader move from party A to party B, support remain intact. Why there is no such trends, are least trained in Europe or America. There is no people who are changing their political party, because if they support a particular ideology and issue, so it's not like they'll shift, the entire supporters will shift. Imagine a person was in party A, a rightist or a centrist party or a leftist party. Let's say a person was in a leftist party, and that person make a complete 180-degree shift to a rightist party. How it is possible? How it is possible? मैं नाम नहीं ले रहा हूं, बता नहीं रहा हूं, but you can understand it. And still the parties are not worrying, okay, this guy was in left and now he is in right, not only right, in extreme right, and he still, everyone is happy about it, because all the masses, people will shift. And सबसे ज़्यादा, I mean, the people who are more burdened is the common people. Now this is not the problem of the leadership. Now you have to defend. Earlier you belong to party B and you keep on criticizing someone from party C. ए और बी सी से कुछ निकालेंगे नहीं, ठीक है, एंड यू कीप ऑन क्रिटिसाइजिंग पार्टी सी, समवन वाज वेरी करप्ट इन पार्टी सी and party B, keep on criticizing that person. The person has joined party B. The person has joined party B. Now the problem is with the followers. Earlier they are criticizing and now what they have to do? Defend. The most interesting part, the followers do the same. That's what the very interesting part is. It's not about the person has changed the party. The way people started defending to whom they always criticized. That is why it is a personality-based party system, where people do not worry about the issue or everything. They just know who is their leader. Wherever the leader go, they follow them. Connecting it to the political theory. Mass mentality I spoke of. That is what the mass mentality, where your critical thinking capacity has gone. Anna Arendt, a scholar and a political thinker, we have to study. He said that because if the masses will be struggle every time for the bread and butter, they'll be confined only in the labor work, that critical thinking is never going to be emerged. So if the parties deliberately stop, you must not get a good education. If they ensure that you must not make a lot of money, you should have a limited money, and your whole life should be only gone in arranging the money for the various purpose, you're never going to think of this critical thinking, and it always become easy for them to mobilize. Uska theoretical part comes from political theory. That is what the application part is. So this is something you have to study. IR for developing countries. These are the topic. Technically मैं कहूँ तो ये topic number मैं लिख देता हूँ. That will be easy for you. Topic number 2, topic number 3 and topic number 4. These are syllabus में. Topic number 2, topic number 3 and topic number 4. Topic number 4. So this is theory, and this is also key concepts of international relations. This is topic number 5 and topic number 6. Topic number 5 and topic number 6. Then we are going to talk about international organizations. Here we'll talk about UN, we'll talk about WTO, and many more organizations like NAFTA was there. Then we'll talk about Cold War, US hegemony, decline of US hegemony, rise of India, China, few global issues like nuclear proliferation, और भी है terrorism. That's a very interesting topic. Terrorism, nuclear proliferation, एक पूरा टॉपिक है. ग्लोबल कंसर्न, डेमोक्रेसी, ह्यूमन राइट, environment. So this is what you have to study in 2A. In IR theories, topic 5, topic 6, even topic 1. That all come under this part. This is related to the third one. So once you are able to differentiate the whole syllabus, then it become easy. But if you study like this, topic number 1 and topic number 2, then it's going to create you trouble. Why? Because topic number 1 is related to this, but the topic number 2 is related to this. That's pull apart. But if you reorganize the whole syllabus, you study, first we'll study keywords. Keywords like what is international system, what is power, what is security, what is national interest, what is collective security, what is balance of power system. Ye sab. Then we'll go for IR theories and topic 1. Then we talk about this part, how it is applied in third world countries. Like, ऐसे ही बता रहा हूँ, security dilemma and insecurity dilemma. Security dilemma means if a country become powerful, country A become powerful, so a neighboring country B, which is less powerful, will develop a security dilemma. कि how the A is going to behave against the B. Security dilemma means if the other power is more powerful. But in developing countries, they face security dilemma as well as insecurity dilemma. Now, what is insecurity dilemma? Insecurity dilemma, they face the problem from outside as well as inside. Now, inside means the many fractions and group, they may demanding to be get separated, or they pose challenge to the state security. So countries, India, Pakistan. So there is a one province in Pakistan trying to get away from Pakistan, Balochistan. So Pakistan is not facing only the security dilemma, they are facing insecurity. हमारे साथ भी वैसा ही है. We are not facing only the security dilemma, we are facing insecurity dilemma. But look at to developed countries. They all are facing only security dilemma. They are not facing insecurity dilemma. No one is trying to be away in America. Britain, France, these all countries are intact. So when we study IR theory, then this is application part. And that's a very interesting part. What is national security? So you think of securing the border is a national security. But wherever the insecurity dilemma is there, it's not only securing the border. You need to address the human security, political security. Human security means the people should be treated equally. There should be less poverty. There should be no communalism. There should not be caste-based discrimination. If it is over there, then anyone can grow up and move or pose challenge to the state. जैसे Naxalism in India, it is a threat to our security. But the root cause of Naxalism is related to resources of those areas. Their share, people's share is quite less. So economics is very important. You need to ensure that everyone should get the opportunity of development. Like in some of the places, people are organized around ethnicity and imposing a security challenge against India. People are organized around any other identities. So this insecurity dilemma is faced by developing countries. It is not faced by developed countries. So this is what theory, and this is more how it is applied over here and how it is applied in the developed countries. और यहाँ के concept में हम पढ़ेंगे. I guess everyone know about Cold War, US hegemony, rise of India and China, decline of US hegemony. That is also very interesting. The debate of nuclear doctrine. The debate about India. If I'll make a statement, this is again a very interesting. इससे आपको कुछ समझ में आएगा. जैसे nuclear proliferation. Do you understand what is nuclear proliferation? Nuclear proliferation means more countries should have nuclear weapon. So do you support nuclear proliferation? सबके पास nuclear bomb होना चाहिए. अरे अच्छा, अपने पास होना चाहिए, बाकी किसी के पास नहीं होना चाहिए. If nuclear proliferation will be there, then will be security dilemma. Security dilemma को counter करने के लिए सबके पास होना चाहिए. Now this is what they debated. Should everyone have nuclear weapons? Now there is a very interesting thing. There is one scholar named Kenneth Walls. He said yes, everyone should have, our maximum country should have nuclear weapons. Why? Because it will create nuclear deterrence. Deterrence means, I'm using another term, MAD, means mutually assured destruction. So if 15, 16 countries or maybe 20 countries are having nuclear weapons, they will not attack over each other. Because why? Because they know that if they will attack, there will be retaliation and both will be destroyed. Deterrence का मतलब होता है one country will create unacceptable damages to the other country. So the two countries decided not to enter into the war because both are very powerful and they know that if they'll go for war, one may win, but there will be unacceptable damage. मतलब आप imagine करो, दो लोग लड़े, आप जीत गए, दूसरा मर गया, लेकिन आपके भी दोनों हाथ गए, दोनों पैर गए, एक आंख गई, सारे दांत गए. Now imagine this. Are you ready for that kind of victory? Yes, he's a neorealist. He started the school of neorealism. From 1979 onwards, he published a book. So this is just a way of seeing the things. There are few who believe that nuclear deterrence will work. दो घर हैं, both have guns, and both know that we both have guns, so not to enter into any kind of war or any kind of conflict. If I can make damage, the other may make damage. That's what the mutual assured destruction. So the idea is proliferation of the nuclear weapon lead to international peace. That's what the neo-realist says. हम बिल्कुल उल्टा सोचते हैं कि नो न्यूक्लियर वेपन सबके पास नहीं होना चाहिए. But again, why it should be? Because this can work the people who are rational. What about the irrational people? जैसे ये डायलॉग सुना है, जो भी होगा देखा जाएगा. Now if state started thinking like this, मार देते हैं न्यूक्लियर बम, जो भी होगा देखा जाएगा. If someone thinks like this, then this theory is not going to be applicable. What if it slipped into the hand of terror groups? Then again it is going. So this theory has been also criticized on a particular line. Because it works, but it works in the certain conditions. Similarly, there are a lot of good concepts and very interesting things are there. Like when you study key concept, power. So what is power? In international relation, what is power? Who is considered to be powerful? Good GDP. Militarily very superior. Economically very superior. I mean, human forced to do something which the other person may have not done it. That's what the argument is considered to be a powerful. But if you consider a person with a high GDP, I mean a country with GDP or a country with lot of weapon is a powerful country. Then how this weapon system is going to work? Because as I explained earlier, China and Russia and US, they all have huge, good number of nuclear weapons. मैं आपको data देता हूँ. US and Russia both have more than 5,000 nuclear weapons. And China is having around more than 800 nuclear weapons. अब ये बात सोच के बताओ कि even the 5-10 nuclear weapons can work. But why they went for this much of nuclear weapon? Okay, let me give a concept. The amount of nuclear weapons available to this world, it holds the capability to destroy the earth 50 times. इसलिए कहा जाता है इसको एज ऑफ ओवरकिल. It's not kill, overkill. Then why still states are going to make nuclear bomb? Why they keep on making nuclear bomb? That's again a very interesting idea. India has almost 190 nuclear weapons. What to do with 190 nuclear weapon? If you're targeting Pakistan, 2 is enough. Maybe 3 is enough. Why we have 190? And India has a lot of dilemma also. Where you are going to drop that bomb? Because if you think you will drop in Karachi or in Lahore, its impact will be on many Indian states. So where to drop? Pakistan-Afghanistan border. Both have gone. Now this is again a very important question. Now, there is argument that we are in the era of power projection rather than the real fight. Power projection means where you can just project the power. It's not like you are going to really apply those powers. How you can project the power? Power projection कैसे होता है? हिंदी फिल्म में बहुत बढ़िया एग्जाम्पल है. You are going to talk to someone, बंदूक निकाल के रख दी टेबल पर, and you start talking. That's a power projection. So how these countries go for power projection? How they show the weapons, that is very interesting. Have you seen about naval exercises? So what they do in naval exercises, military exercises, air force exercises? Yes, they display. हमारे पास एक और तरीका है, 26 जनवरी. We also showcase that. और कितना इंटरेस्टिंग है, किसी के भी प्रेसिडेंट को बुला लेते हैं, देखो सारा वेपन हमारा. Earlier we used to call our neighborhood. अभी हम थोड़ा बाहर के लोगों को बुलाने लगे. Otherwise earlier it was from Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan president तो डर ही जाएगा. But now we have changed that whole idea. This is power projection. So we are in the era of power projection, and the states keep on making their weapon system. So this is related to the power, security. There are so many concepts are there we have to study. I guess you understand what I'm talking about when it comes to the final 2B, that is related to India and world. India and world. Here you have to study Indian foreign policy. Indian foreign policy. Determines institutions that make Indian foreign policy, continuity and change in Indian foreign policy. Then there is one topic, India and neighborhood. Neighborhood. So here we talk about our neighbors. Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Afghanistan, or Bangladesh, Maldives, और भी हैं. These are India and its neighborhood. Then you are going to find a topic, India and great powers. Here we study USA, China, Russia, European Union. Even we study about Japan. India and developing countries. इसमें दो ही है, अफ्रीका एंड लैटिन अमेरिका. India and Latin America. Apart from that, India and United Nations, और एक और India's nuclear doctrine. India's nuclear doctrine. This is what we have to study in our India and world. But one important thing, I'm not going to completely differentiate 2A and 2B. Few of the topic I fuse together and make you study. For example, in 2A, there is a topic of nuclear proliferation. There is a topic of nuclear threat. And in 2B, there is the Indian nuclear doctrine. So we must know the nuclear regimes and nuclear order and then Indian nuclear doctrine. So I'm going to fuse both of them. Then there is the topic related to developing countries. So again, India is leader of Neo or South. So again, I'm going to fuse this topic. So there will be reorganization of the syllabus. And why I go for reorganization of the syllabus? There's two basic reasons. First, you'll have a very depth and holistic understanding. जैसे मैं एक example देता हूँ. Last year in the mains, they have asked this question, कि why India went for nuclear explosion in 1998. Now to understand कि why India went for this, you must know what is happening at the global level regarding the nuclear weapons. So, for example, one of the reason was कि in 1995, NPT extended for indefinite period and Indian demands has not been incorporated. This is one of the reasons. CTBT was designed in a discriminatory manner. और ये दोनों दिया हुआ है 2A में. So without understanding what is NPT, what is CTBT, studying Indian nuclear doctrine is a halfway understanding. So clubbing together is a very important part. So many topics and one more important part. Like if you talk about IR, theories like realism. So realism is a theory. The application you can witness in India-China relation, India-US relation. So there's no point that I'm going to differentiate. If I'm going to teach realism, so I'm going to tell you about India-China relationship also. I'm going to talk about India-Pakistan or maybe India-US relationship. So that will be a very classic example ki how a theory can be applied. If I'm teaching you Marxist theory of IR, so I'm going to talk about connecting it to the process of globalization, ki how the trade or the economic asymmetry is there. So many things are going to be clubbed together for a bigger and holistic understanding. एक तो फायदा ये होगा, दूसरा टाइम पर आपका सिलेबस खत्म होगा. One of the major reason student think they speak also कि this is a very exhaustive subject and it has a long syllabus. Obviously, if you study it topic wise, it is exhaustive. But if you reorganize the whole syllabus, it becomes easy. Lot of things. For example, non-alignment in 2A is also there. Non-alignment in 2B is also there. United Nation is in 2A also. India and United Nation in 2B also. So why to study separate? Let's study the evolution of United Nations and then study India's contribution to the UN, all the recent debate related to the UN, club both the topic, you will have all the same topic at the same place. आपके लिए आसान हो गया. और उससे सबसे आसानी क्या होगी? The best part is that when you write your answer in the mains examination, you always need to write examples and application. So if it is at the same page, so if they are asking about any IR theory, then the application can also you can write. ऐसा नहीं कि you are studying theory separately and you are studying application part separately. So if you reorganize the syllabus, it will reduce your time, and it will bring a in-depth and holistic understanding. For paper 2, I'm going to club lot of topic. It is not applicable in case of paper 1 because thinkers theories are there and Indian constitution is there. Lot of interrelationship is not there in paper A and paper 1A and paper B. Although one can say कि will apply the theory of 1A over the Indian constitution, it is hardly 1%, not more than. वो भी जबरदस्ती apply करना पड़ेगा. That's not the real one. Otherwise 1A and 1B is almost different to each other. Almost different to each other. I can make the references where the common things will be there. But when it comes to 2A and 2B, one is a theory, other is application. One is theory, other is the application. That's why we are going to club lot of topic of 2A and 2B. Clear to everyone? Okay. Now coming back. When it comes to the paper 1, section A. Now, this I teach in parts. How I teach in parts? First, Indian political thinker, then ancient Western thinkers like Plato and Aristotle. Now, there is no linkage or interconnection between Indian political thinker or the Plato and Aristotle. Although we can compare it. The third part is modern Western political thinker. Modern Western political thinker. In modern Western political thinker, it starts with Machiavelli, but I start with Hobbes. And why I start with Hobbes? It is because with the Hobbes, modern ideology started emerging. So Hobbes, Locke, J.S. Mill. This is mentioned in your syllabus. I am going to add Bentham and रूसो, और इसको पढ़ाऊंगा आपको एक आइडियोलॉजी से जो कि पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी में दिया हुआ है, आइडियोलॉजी ऑफ लिबरलिज्म, आइडियोलॉजी ऑफ मॉडर्न लिबरलिज्म, and ideology of neoliberalism. Once we complete this, we'll go for Marxist thinker. Karl Marx और ग्रामसी, यही केवल आपके सिलेबस में है. But I'm going to add Mao also. I'm going to add Mao also. And along with that, I'm going to cover a topic. जैसे ये आइडियोलॉजी का टॉपिक है, then there is a topic of Marxism. So once we are completing these thinkers, along with that we are completing ideologies also, because the topic of ideology has been given separately. But what is liberalism? Liberalism simply means the idea of Locke, J.S. Mill, Bentham and whatever the Hobbes has said. ये मिलके ही liberalism बनाते हैं. You won't be able to understand properly until unless you club both of them. आपको अलग से दिया हुआ है आइडियोलॉजीज के टॉपिक है मार्क्सिज्म. व्हाट इज मार्क्सिज्म? आइडिया ऑफ मार्क्स is a Marxism. So we are going to connect and study it together. We are going to connect and study it together. And after that, we are going to cover rest of the political theory. Political theory. Like liberty, equality, justice, democracy, power, and then finally we'll talk about Hannah Arendt. Connecting Hannah Arendt with the idea of power. Connecting Hannah Arendt with the idea of power. Fine. So this is how it's going to work. This is how it's going to work. This is how we are going to cover fine. Now and this topic, I mean this is what interconnected with each other, but these topics are not interconnected with each other. Is that clear to everyone? Few more things. First, what you are going to refer. So there are two important sources. There are two important sources you are going to refer. The first important source is the notes what I am going to make you write inside the class, plus the booklet shared by institute. So I guess you got it, or you may get the booklet. There will be 5 booklets will be there, covering the entire syllabus. Now, why not to refer any book? It is just because those booklets are the gist of the many books. Those booklets are the gist of the many books. So reading 4 books, reading that one particular book is equal. I referred almost all the standard book for making that particular notes. So your source is going to be the class lectures, class notes, plus the booklet shared by the institution. Not in paper A, but in paper 2, because something new happened. So I share some notes in form of soft copy, because that may be a complete new topic. For example, नेपाल ने मान लो न्यूक्लियर ब्लास्ट कर दिया, so that will be a complete, or the war happened in some part, so that may not be covered in the notes. So I'm going to share some soft copy. उसकी soft copy मिलेगी, group पे share हो जाएगा. You can keep that soft copy with you, although these soft copies are hardly 5 or 10, not more than that. So these are the source. Now finally, how you are going to make notes. So again, whatever I am dictating in the class, that is going to be your class notes. Some students ask me, ki sir, we'll go back and we'll write the notes again. My answer is no. Write it inside the class and revise it at your place. Rewriting it's quite time taking, and you are never going to complete it again, I'm telling you. The same thing you have to go. So don't do that. Write it inside the class. Write it inside the class. There's no need to go back and write it again. Lectures, जैसे अभी मैं बता रहा हूँ, bulk part of the class is in form of lectures. I'll make you dictating inside the class, and lot of such type of pictorial presentations will be there. जिसको आप माइंड मैप कहते हो. माइंड मैप्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो जैसे जैसे मैं बोर्ड पे बनाऊं, प्लीज डू मेक. एंड आई स्पीक लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. देयर इज नो रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ मेकिंग रनिंग नोट्स. Although few students are able to write it, that is their choice, but that is not required. That is not required. Where this structure, mind map, and what I dictate inside the class, that is two important thing. You have to write it. And this is how you are going to make notes. Normally, inside the class, we discuss even previous year questions. In some of the cases, I'm going to make you write the answers, and I give a lot of questions inside the class. Anyone can write those answers and show me outside. I prefer write 1 or 2 questions daily. Why I'm saying this one? Answer writing is not something you can develop it in just one day. Even I explained, okay, this is how answer writing should go. A lot of people give a lot of lectures and gyan over answer writing. But I'm telling you, answer writing is a process. You learn it by writing only. You write, I check and give the input, you rewrite, and this is how, after writing 50-60 answer, you'll be able to write a better answer. If you think that कि sir will take a lecture क्योंकि this is how the answer should be written, and after the lecture you'll be master in writing, it's not going to be happen. I'm telling you, what you have to do, you have to write those. And surprise tests are always there. It is not a fixed one, although my surprise test is just 4-5, I announce it 4-5 days earlier. But for me, still a surprise test. Because I know that if I'll start, taking test on the same day, then nobody will be there. Because earlier, I was a lecturer in a college, some other state. It was Uttarakhand. I was their lecturer. So, sometimes, I don't feel good. I was not well basically, so I can teach the class. But still I take the class. So one of my colleagues suggested, look, I have an idea. You can avoid your class. How come? Go inside the class and say, today is a surprise test. And you give 15 minutes to them for the prepare and come out from the class. Once after 15 minutes you are going, you hardly find 2-3 students. And they say कि 2-3 लोग क्या लिखेंगे? ठीक है. This is how you can manage. That's why I changed that approach and started saying at least 4-5 days before कि there is a test. This test is a surprise test. It's not like when I'm going to take, what I'm going to cover. It's all my choice and will. It is not part and parcel of the program. This is what I think I should take, I'm taking it. Along with this program, there is a test series, formal test series. You can join the test series even while studying or even after the course completion. You have all the choices. Whenever you want to go for that test series, you can go for the test series. My experience is that most of the students go for that test series after the prelims examination. Why? Because by December onwards, they started entering into the prelims preparation. So after the prelims, they attempt the test. The test will be valid till your mains examination, that year mains examination. At any point of time, you can write that particular test series. Is that fine to everyone? Any other question if someone is interested? Okay, now, I inside the class I say this is what the question, 4-5 questions in every 2-3 classes will be there. Pick those tests, those questions. Don't write PYQs. Prefer I'll discuss those PYQ inside the class. The questions what I give you here for the practice, go for those practice. Fine? Okay, now he asked, definitely I'll give structure. Once the test will be over, I'll take a discussion on the test where I'll talk about how The whole structure has to be there. Now, as he asked about, yes. No. Look, he was basically talking about who should be compensated. So he was against the idea of welfareism, that everyone should be compensated. He was anti to that idea. And he was proposing that, only those who are subject of the brute luck, means those lost because of conditions what they cannot control, they should be compensated by state. But add on one more thing, that was the option luck. But he said that if the option is available to address that brute luck, and if people deny to that particular option, they should also be not compensated by the state. That simply means suppose you live in an area which is a flood zone, and government announce a scheme of insurance. Okay, you go for insurance of your crops because this is a flood zone, and if there will be flood, so if you have an insurance, you will be compensated by companies. Now imagine someone prefer not to go for the insurance of the crops, and flood happened to that year. So that person should be compensated or not? So actually Dworkin was basically, he was a supporter of liberalism, and he was critical to the idea of welfare state, and he want to go for selective welfareism, resource equality. So he want that only few people who are the subject of the brute luck, where no option is available, should be compensated by the state, not the everyone. So he want to reduce the burden of the state in terms of welfareism, and he consider this is the justified way. Rawls was critic of Dworkin's model. Rawls was not supporter of that idea, because in the Rawlsian theory of justice, even he supported to those who are subject of the brute luck, means those who cannot ever will be able to make, they should be also get support from the state. So the Rawls model was much broader in comparison to the Dworkin. Fine. In details, we'll do it in the class. So now, how we are going to cover the syllabus? I'm going to start from tomorrow, and I'll start with this part, modern Western political thought. Once I'll complete this part, then I'm going to revise this part. Or once we'll be able to complete the syllabus, again I'll start from Indian political thinker to the first this, then this, and it will again, the whole 1A will be completed again. So this goes in a complete cycle. So if anyone miss any of the topic, they can cover that topic. Even if you miss any topic from here, you'll have two options. Option number one, there will be 3 days of window to cover that topic. So that class will be available online to you. But if you miss that class, then once the entire class will be over, I'm going to repeat the entire section 1A. You can again come for that particular class. There is one more option. Even suppose you missed it there also. Then after the prelims, The entire class will be available in online mode to everyone, whether student is online or offline, for the next 1 month. So whatever the topic you missed, you can complete it. So like from 1st of June to 30th of June, all the lectures of section 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B will be available. You can go for any of the topic if you miss second time. But in second time, this facility is available for 1A. I'm going to repeat it. I'm not going to repeat 1B, 2A or 2B. You want to even cover that, then you need to join me next year batch after the June. When I announce the batch, you can come. There's no restriction. If someone miss some topic, can come and take the class for those topics. There is no limitation on that if you miss that topic. Fine. I guess you got your answer? Yes. Anyone else is interested in asking anything? Hello. Are you okay? What's your name? Kirti. Are you okay, Kirti? अब थोड़ा परेशान लग रही हैं, नहीं? हाँ, अब नहीं लग रही हैं. Okay, guys. So, are we done or is there any question? Done? Done? So, see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you to all of you.